the 7th Annual Biohacking Conference. We're here with Alice Miller of 40 Years of Zen. She's the Director of Operations and Facilitations. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure, yeah.
So I've heard many people talk about how 40 Years of Zen has changed their life and brought them to a higher level of functioning. And I'm just curious, for people who don't know about 40 Years of Zen, can you explain how that works and how people are getting so many amazing results from it?
It's an extraordinary program. If you meet somebody who's been meditating for, on average, decades, there's a quality to them. They tend to be more peaceful, have more access to a state of equanimity, more present. And so can you imagine in this age of technology, the digital age, using the best of technology with this ancient traditions and practices, you're able to condense things, condense time, collapse time, and do it in 5 days. There's specific brainwave patterns. So every experience we have as a living human being, we have an underlying pattern of brainwaves. So when we change our brainwaves, we change who we are. So somebody who's been doing decades of meditation will have changed their brainwaves. And we know the exact pattern. So now we introduce this program where they're going through processes tied to technology so that they can catapult themselves into the experience of decades of meditation. And we do that specifically with, first of all, looking at someone's brain map. Your brain tells us your uniqueness, who you are. Then we look at where you might be not firing enough or firing too much relative to high performers, not clinical, high performers. And then we give you targeted neurofeedback, audio, visual, to address that, to get your wiring the way you would want it, to be your most efficient, effective self. And then we have something called pod sessions, so people come through the experience, and they're in these pods, these womb-like big buckets, which is their home for the week, and they're doing neurofeedback using audio, and it's real-time, immediate feedback on your own brainwaves. And then you're changing them. And we always say you're going to get benefits, operant conditioning, your brain is learning how to work more efficiently, more effectively, and you're going to have some experiences of higher consciousness, of different awarenesses, but then you get in your way, you get stuck. So we all have limited belief systems. I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, or I can only do this, or I can't have a spiritual experience, or this or that. And then we all have issues and traumas. And it doesn't matter what it was. As we develop as children into where we are now, we end up having responses to the world, reactions to the world, and we develop patterns and ways of predicting what you're going to see and experience. And so this emotional debris gets caught up with us. And so in the training, in the pod sessions, what you're doing is you're getting feedback on your brainwaves. In a rising alpha pattern, you're able to clear out those negative emotions. You're going to clear out those neural pathways. And then we have other processes that help develop new ones. And so you're elevating yourself, clearing out, creating more space within you. You're creating a quieter mind, and there's no price I don't put on having a quieter mind. To get to a place where you can choose if you want to think and what you want to think about is freedom. It's absolute freedom. So that's the process. So we do some reset processes, we do some retroframing, and many others targeted to what your issues are, or where you want to go, what your goals are, and you bring yourself there through the neurofeedback, through the mirror of your brainwaves.
That's so cool. What would you say are the top 3 goals that people come to 40 Years of Zen with?
A lot of people want to have healthier relationships, better relationships, or even getting into relationship. And the number one takeaway that most people report is relationship. And it's really clear that your relationship to yourself changes, which then ripples out and affects your relationships with everybody else. So that's one of the key things. A lot of people, they want to have a clearer mind. They want to be better. Some people, they want to be better at business. They want to be more effective in their lives with what they're doing. it's interesting. A lot of people come for higher IQ and creativity, and they leave and they have that much more. The pieces of themselves they never knew they had. So at one point in the pod session, what happens is people have an experience of ego dissolution. We were talking about the current financial model and how so much of that's tied to ego, right? And it's like, what's the new model? And new models operating at this different level of awareness, right? Where, and so I'll have a moment where all of a sudden, and they realize, oh, I have an ego, but that's not who I am. And they're identifying and relating to something bigger than themselves. That changes you, right? And then being able to have some command over this, or some, until you can actually have, maybe perhaps, if you're lucky, in a moment, have some mastery in that moment. So, yeah, the takeaways for everybody's individual, why they come, and there tends to be a trend in terms of or people with what's next. They're in that wonderful stage of life where they may have gotten divorced, they may have quit their jobs, their kids have left home, and they're asking themselves, what's next? That's one of the most profound questions we ask ourselves as human beings. And this is a delicious question. Yeah. And so a lot of people come in at that place.
Oh, that's really beautiful. It's very heartwarming to imagine people coming there and having this kind of success in their lives that's not easily obtained in our culture. So if someone wants to participate in 40 Years of Zen, what should they do? How do they find out about you, and how do they get in a schedule, a time to come and do this?
Mm-hmm. So it's a 5-day training. I call it a mystery school. You come in and you immerse yourself in the program. You're facilitated all the way so that you're optimizing your experience there. You're squeezing every last ounce of goodness out of it. And so if you visit 40yearsofzen.com, so 40yearsofzen.com, and you can hit the contact page and schedule a call with us. And then we screen you to make sure that you're going to get something out of it. You're in alignment. And then you can ask like more specific questions if you want. And you put down a deposit of $2,500, and then the balance is due when you come. Yeah. And we love hearing from people and exploring the possibility of them doing the training. And we absolutely love it when they come.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys are making some really positive waves in the world, and we're just so grateful to get to talk to you and get to be here at the 7th Annual Biohacking Conference with you and Dave, 40 Years of Zen and Upgrade Labs. This has been the most incredible experience. We're so grateful and thankful to you.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you. It's been a pleasure. Mm-hmm.